Oh, hello there. My name is Sajid Rasul, and I'm doing this video to basically introduce the launch of my upcoming podcast called the Unwritten Journal. And I'm really excited about this because this is something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And it's now coming, everything's coming together now, very gradually coming together, basically. And I've got a situation where I'm going to be inviting guests onto my show. There's going to be people from all walks of life. The Unwritten Journal, actually, the aim of that and the name itself and the purpose of this podcast is to basically give people in our community at grassroots levels an opportunity to basically share their stories. And this can be people from all walks of life. It could be people who are doing some amazing stuff in our community and just need a platform to basically share their story. It could be entrepreneurs, upcoming superstars, really anyone, really, basically, be artists, sports people, anybody doing some amazing work in the community. And my aim is to get them on the podcast and give them an opportunity to basically share their story. It'll be a fantastic opportunity for our listeners as well, because the purpose of the podcast is to actually bring real value for our listeners, where we can basically help to inspire and motivate and educate. They're going to be three principles I'm going to be focusing on. Now, the Unwritten Journal, the name behind that, I mean, a lot of times when we actually hear about success, the highlights of success, um, we never see the efforts behind there, the energy, what's gone behind there, the resources, and the challenges people had to face to achieve that success. So this podcast is going to be basically highlight those challenges, basically, because let's face it, nothing is really planned. Although when you're setting out, you might have a written plan, but things change. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world. There's things are unpredictable. So ultimately, things are unwritten. So this is to share those challenges, what people might face when they set out on a journey to achieve their goals. Now, my name is Sajid Rasul. As I mentioned earlier, now my background is in business development. I worked in various industries, from health insurance to employee benefits to utilities and commercial utilities, and also broadband for residents and commercial use. Now, I'm really passionate about people. I've always been in like face-to-face situations where I've been in like face-to-face communication. So, and that's made me like passionate about people, and also I'm fascinated about people's behaviors, and also looking. I want to basically explore that in my podcast and give and share my experience with people as well. Um, so that's that. And then I wanted to mention the topic about when I set this podcast out, when I roll it out and I'm doing interviews, initially the idea was to do it a monthly basis, but now I've had some feedback with a lot of potential listeners, and they've actually asked me to do it actually more frequent. So initially, because obviously I've got to do it in between my full-time job and my other commitments, so I'm going to do it bi-monthly initially, maybe for maybe a first quarter, and then ultimately my aim will be to do it on a weekly basis, to launch one every week. Obviously, there'll be a lot of effort going in organising guest lists and inviting guests and actually producing and then publishing as well. So I've got to take that into mind as well, because at the moment I don't have a big team to do that at all. So what value will I be bringing to listeners? You'll get a lot of value from this. Like I mentioned before, we're focusing on inspiring potential listeners through our potential guests. So basically, by sharing their stories, their success stories, and their challenges, we want to inspire our listeners through that, and also motivate people as well, because sometimes we need to listen to other people's achievements, or other people are doing stuff, and that can be a trigger to motivate ourselves as well. And also, which is very important, is actually the education side of stuff, because we have to be constantly learning. Learning and reflecting is the ingredient to growth. So if we're not learning and we're not reflecting on our behavior, or on our what we've learned, we're never going to grow. So that's going to be another important part of my podcast here. And we're going to be talking about various topics, about resilience, how to, overcome uncertainty, talk about leadership, the pressures of leadership, talk about people's failures and how they bounce back from that, the recovery outside of that as well. Sorry, I keep dropping my mic here. Actually, this is another thing I've got to basically recover from. The stand, I've actually got it on top of a box here at the moment. So there is a tripod, but I just wanted to raise it slightly higher. The box I placed it on is not actually has got the tripod doesn't actually sit nicely on that. Let me see if I can twist that a little bit and then get that. Oh, actually, it's not working. Actually, that's fine. So yeah, so it's going to be like so growth mindset's another thing we're going to be focusing on as well. So these are going to be like from real experiences from real people, and help in basically sharing their journey and how they overcome their challenges. Basically, we have a list of wide range of guests coming on board for interviewing purposes. So I've got lists from like founders, young like new entrepreneurs, CEOs of companies, SME owners, executives, professionals from various industries as well. So a lot of things going to be happening. It's going to be really exciting, and a lot of learning opportunities for people when you start rolling this um, podcast. Now, I want people to obviously. I want to first of all thank people. Thank you if you're listening to this, um, for your support. Because obviously this is a learning curve for myself as well. Because I have done a little bit of community radio previously, but obviously when it comes to podcast, it's a different type of game. It's quite challenging because I'm doing everything myself, as opposed to when you're doing a radio station, you have a lot of backing from other people, and you have a lot of support network as well. But yeah, I do appreciate that for other people supporting me at this moment in time. And I want to take this opportunity to also use this as an opportunity to invite guests as well. So if you are based, actually, my one thing I forgot to mention is actually I'm based in Sheffield in South Yorkshire. But so we cover like UK nationwide. Obviously, most of my podcasts will be online. There will be some occasions where I'll do face to face in a podcast studio, but most of them will be online. So with that in mind, I can take guests from basically anywhere in the world, really. But my main concentration is going to be the UK initially. So if you are an entrepreneur, or you have some amazing story to share, some achievements you want to share with my guests, feel free to give me a shout, and reach out to me, and we can surely pencil something in. So on that note, I'd like to take an opportunity to say thank you to everyone, and look forward to the new episodes as we progress forward. Thank you very much.